Hey yo, it's your boy Chief Man and I'm back. 6 weeks, 30 videos. From November 14th to December 24th, I'm gonna be dropping 5 times a week. 100k by force by fire. We shall never retire. Get your friends to like and subscribe. Disfruta el video, mi gente. Andale, peace.
Perfect.
Welcome people, welcome back to another episode. Keeping it raw, I always keep it straight. I'm not always right, but when I finish there's nothing left. I just woke up from a 1 hour nap after editing for like 7 hours on a drop that's dropping today, and then I'm gonna edit the drop for tomorrow and shoot another drop with Shay when she comes. But anyways, y'all don't care about that. You're here for content. Let's jump straight into it. Oh, before we start, just a quick shout out to all of you guys that have been engaging with the IG prompts during this 6-week period. I know it's just an idea or a suggestion to you individually, but the cumulative effect is that you guys actually provide the source of the content for these episodes to happen. I mean, I still think I put in the majority of the work, but you guys make it easier. I know it's been a lot lately, but y'all have kept the momentum with me, and I want to say thank you. Alright, enough senti shit. Let's hop straight in. Rank the worst internet people, from WhatsApp aunties to 14-year-olds who like to talk shit. Yes. The tier list of people who have never been loved by anyone. I could spend an entire episode ranting about jobless people on the internet. In fact, if there's a comment that gets 50 likes, I'll actually do a tier list ranking the worst people on the internet. But for now, here are 3 prevalent ones that need to be time limited on their daily use of these apps. White girls who are social justice warriors for a bunch of targeted groups they don't even belong to. Listen here, Bethany, Stephanie, Regina, Megan, and Sarah. The TikTok you just scrolled past? You know, the one where all the man them were laughing together about a racist joke? Yeah. We don't need you. Thank you. Do you guys understand how many racist jokes me and my boys go through a day? Have you ever heard a homie say that if what they said in the PS4 party with their boys ever got released, all of us are going to jail? You girls are the equivalent of the ugly friend on a night out that are preventing me and your fine best friend from flirting when we both feel each other. You are the only one in the equation with an issue. Please don't assume that everyone needs you as a savior, because 11 out of 10 times they don't. Next up are the upgraded forms of the first group, and that's the Karens. These women love to frequent any video with children or dogs. You're not supposed to feed dogs chocolate. Please be careful as the baby could be hurt. They know, you fucking dullards. It's a TikTok. They posted it as a joke. Did y'all just skip the life lesson on humor? Why would negligent parents or dog owners post evidence of their actions on the internet? That's called evidence. That's like live streaming a bank robbery. Can you use your head para un momento, por favor? And lastly, we got the weightlifting watchmen and the steroid sheriffs in the comments of every single impressive athletic act ever captured online. Not every video you see of someone lifting 100+ kgs is on roids, my G. Some people have great genetics or a great work ethic, or both. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean nobody can. I'm gonna take a page out of the book of my arch enemies and say this to you boys. You're projecting. However, on the flip side, gents who take roids and then claim that they're natty in their bio are actual joke men. You men are just male versions of Gel who deny getting a BBL. You're giving young gents who have goals of developing themselves physically unrealistic expectations. The same way the fake BBL Gel are giving young girls fake expectations about beauty standards. Why am I sounding like a woke queen right now? Yes. Sex over hype. Big chat, this one. No one likes to talk about this as a reality, but you know we like to do the opposite of everyone else here on Keeping It Raw. I know sex seems like the biggest life event ever to you young folk, and that there's a lot of pressure to make it happen so that you're not the last one in the friend group with the V card. But like a lot of things in life, delaying your gratification can make for a much more enjoyable experience. Don't rush. Slow touch, brown, I don't like. I've said this before, but I have heard from so many people about at least one body that they regret because they rushed it. And it's usually an early one before they had experience. Make sure you want it with the person you're considering. You, not your friends or their friends or whatever TikTok said makes you a player. You. What y'all know about that?
That's that real music, man.
Y'all should be saying, I want to be intimate with this person, and I want to give of myself on a deeper emotional level, especially the first time, because it sets the tone for your future endeavors. Once you get older, you can start bouncing around if you want to experiment. But sex without an emotional connection is empty, at least for me. The best sex of my entire life has been with someone I cared about. The other sex was cool and it was fun, and I don't regret it, but I don't think about that sex constantly. I would eat at some restaurants over that sex, but this sex?
Give it to me! Give it to me! Just give it! Give
Where do you see yourself in this YouTube thing in 5 years? To be very honest with you guys, I don't really think that far ahead. I spend a lot of time in the present and even more time in the past, which might not be the healthiest thing, but what can I say? I like it there. But I do think a lot about what I want for my life. And I can tell you now, 4 weeks into this challenge, that I'm starting to see glimpses of a path with this YouTube thing that can make that possible for me. Some people want to be obsessive over views and subs, but there's only one number that I really care about. Yeah, I do enjoy the attention I get from this. I enjoy the feedback on a project I put hours into editing. I want to have the subs on M's and the views on B's. But none of the clout matters if my pockets aren't steady. I want a house for myself, designed for myself. I want to retire my rents. I want the whip of my dreams. I promise Shay a G-Wagon if I ever make it. But above all, I want financial freedom. An opportunity to focus on the things that really make me happy. I want football and friends and drinking with friends and gaming. That's part of the reason why I'm not on this 9-to-5 corporate life. I would rather take a risk doing something with a very large potential payoff than play it safe and be a traffic zombie until I'm 65 in a job that I don't like with a wife and kids that I never see. Although I'm never dating again. So where do I want to see myself in 5 years?
White boy summer.
Clap gents with Peng Han. Listen to these words that I'm about to say, and they're important because I typed them in all caps in my notes. Everything in life is a transaction. Everything. Not charity. The giver gets tax breaks, the receiver gets tangible goods. Not individual giving. The giver gets emotional appease that they're a good person, the receiver gets tangible goods. Not a mother performing an act of service for their child out of love. The mother gets serotonin from doing what society describes as the actions of a good mother, and the child gets whatever the act of service provides. Those are extreme examples, and there's more positivity in there than I'm elaborating on right now, but they serve to help me make this next point. If a clap gent is with a Peng Han, he is providing something to her that she cannot or has not found at the same level with other men. A lot of the time, the assumption of that something is money, which is very often the case, but it can also be comfort. Gents and average Huns, let's put ourselves into the POV of a Peng Han. You are approached by men daily without pause, some of whom have played you and degraded you emotionally over the years. You feel undervalued, like you deserve better treatment. And then one day comes along Corporal Clapped himself. He's funny, polite, respectful, and most importantly, he puts you on a pedestal, which is where you've been saying you belong the whole time. Peng Hans, and a cute girl I know has confirmed she does this with her partners, love gents who they feel superior to. Their insecurity no longer exists, and they are now the settler in the relationship, which is their comfort zone. They don't have to worry about keeping his attention away from other fine women because he can't get them. She doesn't have to worry about him ever losing interest in her because she's the best thing that's ever happened to him. It's a sad existence for the gent from an outside perspective, but think about it from his POV. Everything is a transaction. He gets to feel like a champ for landing someone out of his league, and she gets to feel like the queen that other men didn't treat her like. Or money if it's the first option. There's only one way for the clap gent to realize his situation and escape it on an internal emotional level, and that's to glow up. How do I know that? Well, that was me. I'm being a bit dramatic, but the principle did apply. Is it best to be direct or indirect with someone you want? This depends on a lot of factors, but I'm gonna simplify it to this principle. Are they out of your league or are they the one chasing? Who is in the advantageous position? If you hold all the cards, it doesn't really matter what you do. They're already interested. It's just on you not to fuck it up. But in case you have no social tact in these sorts of situations, rather play it slow than dive straight in. However, if you're good at reading indirect cues from the opposite sex, then you'll know which method they respond better to. But cheat sheet is that shy girls are cool with both, and live girls have seen a lot already, so it takes less of a hint for them to pick up on it. Personally, I prefer the indirect way because it makes the game more fun to play. Now remember, all of that was for if you hold all the cards. Now if you're chasing, you have to be a lot more strategic. They're the ones with more options. They have a list full of DMs of people competing for the same slot as you. Lol, the same slot? Anyways, you have to hit an initial balance to hook their attention, which is why in the 5 cheat codes to land your crush video, I talk about being different. If you come in too direct, you're gonna sound like a fanboy and they're not gonna take you serious. If you come in too indirect, you don't leave an opportunity for them to sense and pick up a vibe and run with it. Now, I won't lie, this isn't an easy skill to master and it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of rejections. But once you find that balance, your list of green checks starts to grow. And as your list starts to grow, you'll move from being a chaser to holding all the cards. Talking to girls while you're still grinding to achieve goals. Great question, no lie, this keeping it raw might be my favorite one yet. You men are bringing the meaty ones still. Pause. Unpause. The amount of time I've wasted in the DMs over my life is actually atrocious. It's despicable. Screen time app broken trying to calculate it. And let me explain why it's so bad and why it's so much. When you're vibing with a girl, timing is everything. So initially when the conversation is still hot, I can't be responding and then drop my phone and go and do something. I gotta wait for their response. Sometimes a bar is actually just a setup for another bar, but it only works if I respond in a certain time frame. So now I'm here pretending to be busy scrolling on TikTok while I wait for their DM to come through. Like, dog, go do your work, man. Shit. Another thing is that talking to girls can become your grind, which is when it becomes unhealthy. I've become so addicted to performing in these conversations that I neglect to acknowledge just how much time I'm pouring into this consequentially pointless endeavor. I'm out here strategizing seamlessly executed punchlines while my assignments are crying out for an ounce of attention. And for what? One of these options will make my parents proud, bring an element of achievement and financial security, and the other one will deliver me what? Mediocre nudes? Or fire nudes? To be fair, both activities bring good points of argument to the discussion.
No.
Trust me, be conscious of how much time you spend chasing and whether that's interfering with valuable aspects of your life. But also,
I'm thirsty.
your thoughts on saggy boobs and big areola. Huh? To be honest, I'm not mad at this question. This is an interesting question and a diverse question. I'm tired of telling people my favorite sex position is receiving head. Now, my honest opinion? Okay, let's work through the elements one at a time. I can't think of any of my homies that like saggy boobs. All my homies hate saggy boobs. Now, do they have to be perky like they're fake? Of course not. My preferred level of perkiness is that they sit nice when she's naked and they move nice when we're busy. And they feel nice when I handle them. Like soft to the touch, but they still hold their shape, you know? This is very detailed, but hey man, I guess we're here now. Now, big areola? I don't know, man. They can't be moving like she's about to transform into Venom, you feel me? Also, some girls have large areola that get smaller when they get horny, which is cool, I guess. I don't really feel that strongly about it, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you because that's what we do here. My preference is regular sized areola. Symmetrical, aesthetically pleasing areola. Moving on. If you can see the flame in the relationship is starting to die down, should you try and resurrect it? I honestly am not sure where I stand on this situation. It's a tough one. I know this issue so well because this is exactly what happened in my last relationship. We grew apart towards the end and I basically threw everything down on the line only for it to not be enough. So now the question becomes, do you accept it for what it is and live with the regret of knowing that you didn't give it your all and fight for what you wanted? Or do you go all in and risk the possibility of damaging that relationship forever and making a fool of yourself? When I first saw this question, I thought that I would advise you against doing what I did, but I firmly believe in the YOLO principle bestowed upon us by Drake and gang. I don't want to live my life thinking about what if. I want to know that I did everything in my power to chase what I want. So what I would say is when you see the flame dying, be honest with yourself about whether you think it's worth it to spark it back up. And if the answer is yes, then fight for that shit, my boy. Although you cannot waste any of your life compensating for the love of your partner in a relationship. They need to love you the way you love them. It's sad if that's not the case and you stay. So fight for what you want, but make sure they want it too. And if they don't want it too, then that person's not for you. Paige. Follow me on TikTok. And it's exclusively big booty Latinas from that point moving forward. Do guys genuinely like stretch marks? Guys? I don't know. I can't seem to determine a consensus. Me? Yes, I do. It gives the thighs character. But let me keep it real. I don't love them. I'm not infatuated. But they can add a few style points, you know? Give me some guidelines for my tongue to follow. I got confidence, got the drip, got the looks, but can't pull huns. How to get sauce. Ah, yes. The looks and drip, there's nothing to change there if you know you already look good. And you don't think that just because you believe in yourself or because your mommy told you. Now, confidence, the level at which you apply this when dealing with girls can be the difference between the girl feeling you and the girl thinking you're too shy or too arrogant. You need to find the balance, which again takes practice, like the level of directness point. And when you start flowing in the sweet zone is when the sauce starts adding flavor to the interaction. Another problem I think you might have, I don't know you, is the good looking gent dilemma. You see, when a gent has been good looking his whole life, he's had no prior need for the sauce. It's the gents who aren't genetically blessed from birth, the ones who have a glow up later in life, that have had to develop entertaining personalities to get and keep a girl interested. Problem for the good looking gents is once those men get their glow up, now they're good looking and they can make a girl laugh. You've been out evolved. By me. So looking good by itself isn't good enough anymore. Inheriting other people's enemies, example your friend or partner's enemy. Hey man, we only have space for so much loyalty in our heart, you know? If you trust your friend or partner and they have beef and you don't have time to investigate the beef, sometimes you just trust the beef. But if you can, do your research because your friends and your partners are in the wrong sometimes. But I might chef you up in the street and then confront my people in private because, you know, north side? Alright my people, peace. See you tomorrow for the football drop. Blow. You're projecting. You're projecting.